If your agency show rate is under 82%, then please watch this video, because in this video, I'm about to show you something that you can literally implement right after this video and see a double in your show rate as soon as tomorrow. It'll literally take 5 minutes, and it's so simple that even a toddler could do it. And so when I implemented the same exact thing, my agency went from 10K a month to 30K a month in 2 weeks with the same exact amount of leads. So in this video, like I said, I'm going to show you exactly how you can do the same exact thing. And this video is going to be raw, unedited value. So if you can't pay attention for 15 minutes, you're cooked. I don't know what to tell you. There's literally no chance you're going to be able to hit 100K a month. But if you're still here, then lock in and let's get to it. So the first thing that I want to cover with you guys is the importance of your show rate. When I was first starting out, I didn't think show rate was like that important, but it is literally the quickest way you can double your business. Look at this example. Let's say you're getting 30 leads. Let's say you're spending money on ads, you're making like cold SMS, you're cold calling, whatever. Let's say you get in essence 15 book calls. In this example, we're running ads, so $600 spent and you book 15 calls, you get 30 leads. Your show rate's 33%, right? So 1 in 3 show up. Your close rate's 20%. You're selling something for $2,000, right? So pretty traditional numbers with just a low show rate. You're gonna collect 2K because 15 calls booked, 33% show up. So that's 5 out of 15, right? 5 out of 15 is gonna be 1/3. And then 20% close, so 1 out of 5, we're gonna close 1 person. But then on the other hand, let's say 30 leads, 600 spent. So the same amount of leads we got up here, we have 15 calls, but our show rate doubles, right? A little more than doubles. So from 33 to 66 or 70, our close rate stays the same. Our ticket stays the same, but we collect a little more than double. It sounds so simple, but the fastest way to double your business is gonna be to double your show rate, because show rate is literally something that we can double tomorrow. If we wanna double the amount of calls that we're booking, right? That's gonna take us at least a month. Like we can double our ad spend, yes, or we can double the amount of SMS we're sending, but it's not always going to just double the amount of leads we're getting, right? That's not always the case. If we can double our show rate, we can see a double in our business literally as soon as fucking tomorrow. So doubling your show rate is the fastest way to double your business. Your close rate can stay the same. Everything can stay the same. Literally, you're just getting more calls to show up and you're gonna close more deals. So show rate's actually pretty simple. It's not like the hardest thing to get right, but it's something that a lot of people are doing wrong. So this is the sales process checklist of what we need to do with every single lead prior to us actually taking the sales call. So this is anywhere between like when they become a lead to when they actually show up to the call, however long, usually like 12 to 24 to 36 hours. So let's say they book a call here, they show up here. It's what we're doing in this little range that's actually gonna make our show rate good or bad. So these are the most important things that you should be doing with every single lead on your calendar. Now, a big thing that I'm actually seeing is people aren't treating every lead the same. Let's say you have an appointment that you book, it doesn't sound like the best appointment, so you don't treat it well. Let's say this appointment sounds really good, so you treat it super special. Every single lead's gonna have their own experience with us, right? So everyone's gonna think something different. There's clients that you've signed that probably fucking love you and have had the best experience. It's just all up to the individual. So it's the same thing with the sales process. One lead could think you guys are the shit and that you guys care a lot and you guys are reaching out really fast, but one lead could be like, why aren't they texting me? You know, so I would just say something to keep in mind that was really big in our show rate is we need to treat every lead with the same love, with the same care, no matter if they're a good lead, no matter if they're a bad lead, quote unquote. So focus on these 3 things and they're gonna be the highest leverage in terms of pre-call activities. What that basically means is like pre-call before the call. Now the first thing is gonna be this confirmation call. Now it just depends like where they're booking a call from. Now in this scenario, we're saying it's ads, right? They booked a call from ads. It's gonna be right when they book a call, we're gonna dial them and we're gonna call them. And I'll get into the script of like what we actually use and say on this call in a little bit, but we're gonna call them and essentially just like build rapport with them, right? Build a relationship with this person. Not everyone is willing to like go and reach out to somebody right when they book a call and like build an actual connection. Something that a lot of people are doing wrong is like there's these robotic texts which we have too, which I'm gonna get into, but people usually don't mind no showing a business, right? Once you call them, right, you build rapport with them, you get to know them as a human being, they understood that you took the time out of your day to reach out to them and you actually care about them, they're gonna feel way worse about no showing an actual fucking human being. So confirmation call, we'll get into how we do that and when we call them in a little bit. Lead nurture text, so this is something very similar. Right when somebody books on our calendar, we're gonna reach out to them from our personal cell phone, right? Because no one else is. So we're gonna reach out to them from basically text automations, the automations that we have in Calendly, but we're also gonna reach out over our personal cell. And again, I'll get into the scripts and what actually we say in those SMS later. Now, other than that, we wanna push the VSL to them, right? So push this video sales letter. Now, if you guys don't know what that is, I have other videos about it. Not gonna get into it too much in this video, but it's just gonna basically be a video pre-handling a lot of objections that they're gonna have before the call. Now, these are gonna be subliminal objections as well, because when people book a call, they're gonna have objections to booking the call. Oh, how much is it? Is it gonna be a lot of money up front? Do these people actually have case studies? Things like this. In the VSL, we're meant to pre-handle any objections that they would ever have. Objections on the call, but also objections of showing up to the call. Because a lot of the times, and this is like a big thing, we have to reverse engineer, like, why is somebody not showing up to the call? Is it because they don't know the call exists? No, it's likely they know they booked the call, right? It's not that they forgot. They probably see your text reminders every fucking time that it's showing up on their phone because you're probably spamming them. It's just like, oh, they don't think it's important. Or maybe maybe they're like, I don't think that's going to help me, or, oh, I don't know, like it's probably not going to like make a big difference in my business, or, oh, like they don't have any case studies. There is some sort of objection that they have throughout the sales process that's making them not show up. In this VSL, we need to basically be pre-handling all those objections. So something we like to pre-handle is and talk about is like, how much is it? What we'll say is it's a custom solution. Like there's no one size fits all. So on the call, the purpose is to build out some solution for the both of us. Case studies. We'll slam case studies, social proof, the fact that we can actually do what we say we can do. And then we'll kind of go into our unique mechanism and what makes us different than every other company, because that's what they ask the first thing on the call. So a lot of the times we'll take what they tell us on the call and the objections we get on the call, like right when they show up, and we just put those in the VSL, and we make sure we mandate that they watch the VSL. Other than that, we also mark unresponsive leads as free space in the calendar. So like if we're trying to do a confirmation call with somebody, like call them or text them, and they're just not fucking replying, like we know that they're not going to show up. We know that they just booked the call and they're never going to fucking talk to you again. So what we'll do is we'll go into our Google Calendar, we'll go into like the calendar slot, we'll click on it, and there's a spot that says busy. We'll click it and we'll mark it as free, which basically just means we can book another call on that calendar slot. The most optimized like calendar is for a closer or for a business owner would technically be like a shown qualified call in every single slot. So if somebody's not booking, so if somebody's not responding, we can double book that slot and just get the likelihood that a qualified call is going to be in that slot to basically 2x. Other than that, speed to lead and speed to reply. Like we don't want to be just sitting here, like right when the lead comes in, we need to be texting them. Other than that is speed to lead or speed to reply. So if someone answers our lead text, our lead nurture text, or our confirmation call, it's just going to be getting back to them as fast as possible. If they're coming from ads and booking in, it's just going to be calling them as fast as possible. This is fucking simple, but this is going to be a big thing for show rate. Other than that is only same day, next day bookings. We don't allow people to book 3 days out or 4 days out. Now we test it in our agency. So for service-based businesses, we don't let anyone book more than 2 days out. So just be today and tomorrow. Now the reason for that is because we see if someone's going to book on a fucking Monday on Friday, our show rate literally is abysmal. Literally is fucking awful. Like I just had a client who was still booking 3 days out. They got all their calls on Friday. They filled up their calendar on Monday, and I'm recording this at 1:30 on a Monday. Every single slot they've had, they had 12 calls booked. Every single slot they've had so far has been a no-show or unqualified appointment, right? It's like a waste of fucking time. Sure, we're gonna get a pat on our back and be like, oh, I booked a lot of fucking calls, but none of them are gonna show up, and I'm not gonna make offers to anybody. So when we do this, we're likely gonna take a hit in the amount of appointments we get, or like the actually amount of offers we're gonna make is more. Something else I want you guys to keep in mind is like, we want our calendar to be open all fucking day, like 14, 15 hours. Now, the reason for this is like people are gonna book in your calendar, or if you're booking them from cold outreach, they're gonna book a slot, but they might not be picking the most optimal slot for them. Let's say if we only have same day, next day available, and your Tuesday only has 4 hours, and they pick 4 p.m. on Tuesday, but they're like, oh, I have this obligation at 4:30, like I'll probably be able to make it, and then they no show. We want them to be able to pick the most optimal time, and that's gonna help a lot with show rate. So another thing that I don't have written down here that you guys should do is keep your calendar open as much as you physically can. Then the last thing is text automations, and we spam text automations, we do. And we have to think about why someone wouldn't show up to the call. One reason is they just forgot that it happened. Now, the only reason for text automations is to just remind that it's there. People try and make text automations look super fancy and like it's from a human, and they have these like crazy workflows, and they're like, oh my God, I'm gonna make $1 million because I have a crazy workflow. If that's you and I just called you out, sorry, but it's not gonna fucking do anything. Your workflow is not impressive. It's not gonna make you any fucking money. But basically we have robotic ass automations because it's from a green text, so everyone knows that it's robotic, to just remind them that the call is at that time. Now at a high level, this is what we need to do to every lead. We call them right when the lead comes in if it's from ads. If you already called them like it was a cold call or something like that, I wouldn't call them. But if it was from emails, like you haven't talked to them on the phone yet, we call them right when it comes in, right? Speed to lead. We text them as well. I'll get into these scripts in a second. We force them to watch the VSL, and again, we like push the VSL in the confirmation call and the lead nurture text. We mark those unresponsive leads, the ones that aren't answering, as free. We just reply to them fast, and we call them fast. They only can book same day or next day, so today or tomorrow. And then we have automated text. And my bad if I sound nasally as fuck, I'm a little bit sick. Now at a high level, that's what we do. But if our show rate's low, right, and we're doing all these things, go through this list before doing anything else. Number one, are we getting in touch with every lead prior to the meeting, right? Are we doing the confirmation call? Are we doing the lead nurture text? Number two, GHL automations, purely as reminders. Do not change or make them crazy fucking fancy. Are we doing the simple things that are going to scale our business? Fancy fails, simple scales. Are you trying to get fancy and cute? Or are you doing the simple shit that we know is gonna work? And then are you properly managing your calendar? So you're color coding it. If somebody confirms, we change the color on the calendar to green. If somebody's not confirmed, we change it to red. And just confirmed is if they answer our confirmation call or our lead nurture text. If it's a follow-up, we put it purple, etc. If someone's unresponsive, are we marking it as free? Are we replying fast? Are we actually texting them as fast as we should be? Is our calendar availability only same day, next day? And are we maximizing the space that we have in our calendar for those 2 days? Because odds are if your show rate's low and you're doing those things or you think you are, you're just not doing them good enough. But towards the end of the video, I'm gonna get into actually psychology of getting somebody to show up and kind of why somebody wouldn't be showing up if you are doing all of those things. But these are the scripts, right? So this is the pre-call script. So right when somebody books in your calendar, we just call them. We say, hey, name, this is name from company. Saw you booked a call on my calendar. You have a quick 30 seconds to speak really quick. And then if they say no, you sure? Promise it'll be super fast. Awesome. Just wanted to cover a few things to make the most out of our time on whatever. Does that 100% work for you? Do you have the Zoom link? I want to treat you with the same respect as I do with all my clients. All I ask is you have a full hour blocked off. You're in a quiet place with your camera on. Does that work for you? That's a big thing in a lot of industries. Like people are taking calls in the car and like, dude, if someone's in the car, they're not going to give you their money. So why are you taking the call in the first place? So we just want to make sure they're actually going to be at home on a computer or on their phone, just focused, ready to take the call with you. Give me some context rather to see what I have to offer, what really made you want to book in. The purpose of this question is just North Star. So we're just trying to get the North Star out of the call. We want to understand like why they're booking in and why they're coming to us. Basically, all they have to say is, I want to scale my business. I'm coming to you to scale my business. And what that allows you to do with the prospect is like you guys are on the same page and all you're doing on the call is just helping them scale their business. And then sweet, I have a video covering how we do that. Do you want to watch that on the call together or do you want to watch that on your own time before our call? They're always going to say, I want to watch it on my own time. And then after that, we send the VSL to them and then say, gotcha, just sent that through text. Did you get it? Whatever. Sweet, I appreciate your time. I'll let you go. So this is just reaching out to them personally. Again, creating a conversation with a human being, just being a fucking human, being yourself, building rapport with the prospect. That's the pre-call script. The SMS nurture script, so the lead nurture text, like what we text them. So if they answer the pre-call, right after the pre-call, we go, it was great speaking with you, John. If you need anything before our call, feel free to reach out. And then morning of the meeting, we'll just go, hey, John, I'll see you at time. Here's a Zoom link, by the way. If they did not have a confirmation call, if you're not doing a confirmation call because it's from like text blast and you already talked to them or a cold call or something, or let's just say they didn't answer the confirmation call at all, then this is what we do. Right after you try and call them, send this. This is name from company name. Saw you were booking on my calendar for time. Just wanted to reach out personally. Does that work for you? The answer, perfect. Check this video out before our call. It'll answer most of your questions via cell. Cool. I'll see you today. If you need anything, this is my personal line, so feel free to reach out. Now, if they're not answering any of these, that's when we just leave it on open. If they haven't answered any texts every morning, we'll just text them, hey, John, this is Cole. Notice you haven't answered any of my texts. If you're not going to be able to answer, we're going to have to cancel your slot, blah, blah, blah. Basically, if someone's not going to show up, we're not even saying that as like just trying to make fake scarcity and get them to show up. It's like, if you're not going to show up, just fucking tell me so I can cancel your call and get somebody else in that slot who's actually going to buy. We got to be ruthless with our fucking time. Because the problem with the no-show is like, if a call's on your calendar and they don't show up, you can't allocate that time to anything else. It's basically fucking wasted, right? You got to go call leads or do whatever, but your brain isn't in the space to like be able to do something because you just committed that hour to a call in your brain, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It's like, you thought you had a call, so you're getting ready for the call. And then when the call doesn't show up, when you're like, shit, I thought it was going to show up, then you're fucked. Now this is setting leads who don't book calls. Now this is mainly with ads, but it also works for emails, like, or whatever. If you have a lead who didn't end up booking a call, this is the process we take them to. We want to make the most out of our ad spend, right? In every lead or our emails or whatever, and maximize throughput by setting as many leads we get, even if they don't self-book. So these are activities that are going to allow you to book a fuck ton of appointments and make a lot of money. So first thing, double dial new opt-ins within 5 minutes. That's simple. First off, we're double dialing them. We see our pickup rate doubles if we call them twice instead of once. And then within 5 minutes, we're going to book 27 times more calls if we just call them within 5 minutes. Now, other than that, double dial twice a day for at least 3 days, morning, night. Some people just never pick up their phone in the morning. Some people never pick up their phone at night. So if you're only calling them in the morning and they only answer at night, then you're wasting out on that lead. After a lead's 5 days old, 3, 4, 5 days old, it's the same as if they're 365 days old. That's what we've seen. People forgot they filled your shit out literally in 12 hours. Why are you wasting time on your old leads and dialing them when we need to be dialing our fresh 3-day-old leads? 90% of our time should be focused on the warmest leads. It can make sense, but people are dialing their old leads when they have new leads sitting right here who just filled out the form. So the biggest thing is obviously going to be calling within 5 minutes. Second biggest thing is double dialing twice per day, every day for 3 days. days. So we're really, really juicing our fucking leads. They're either gonna block us or they're either gonna pick up and book an appointment, because again, we don't wanna waste our time on people who don't wanna fucking book calls. We just have email and text automations. Text them from your personal phone as well. Same thing with the show rate. It's just, we're building a connection with them. They're more likely to respond to an actual human. Something Tanner Chittister does that I thought was pretty insightful. I mean, we haven't tested this, so this is a data point that like I'm just kind of sharing with you guys. When a lead comes in, he will automatically text them, just be like, hey, it's Elite CEOs or it's whatever company name, saw you just filled out a form, do you want to talk about it? And then 10 minutes later, he sends them a text off of a different number, right? And this is also an automation, and be like now it's John, this is my personal cell, like did you want to jump on a call or something like that? And it makes it seem like that second phone number is a real person. And apparently he was telling me that he's been sending way more leads like that. And so your only job is in touch as with many leads as you possibly can and just get them on your calendar, right? There's money sitting in your pipeline, but I swear if you actually dial and try, you can milk so much money out of your pipeline, right? Like I had some clients who stopped spending money on ads just because stuff was getting kind of tight financially, but they have spent money on ads in the past and they had like 5,000 leads. They stopped spending money on ads for a month and they collected 35 grand just off old leads, dialing them and really fucking grinding, right? But what I was kind of talking about earlier is the psychology of why people don't show up. This is what we need to talk about. Number one, right? One reason why somebody didn't show up is they just didn't know when it was, right? They just didn't know what time it was, which is not likely because we have the reminders in place. That's the only reason why we have the reminders in place, just to remind them what it is. Simple. Number two, they didn't know how. That's why we have an email saying it was a Zoom link, right? And like how to join a Zoom. And unless they're like 75-year-old doctors, they probably know how to join a Zoom call. Now, the last and the most important one is it just wasn't fucking important. It just wasn't important enough for them to join. A lot of the times, right? So we went and we called all of our leads and we were like, okay, why didn't you join? Why didn't you join the call? And a lot of people were just like, I just forgot about it. And I was like, okay, dude, like I'm not gonna be upset at you if you just tell me you didn't fucking show up because of some reason. And pretty much everyone was like, yeah, honestly, man, like I just didn't think it was worth my time. And what that means is they literally knew they had the call. They made a conscious decision not to show up. I had this analogy brought up to me once and it changed my life regarding show rate. And the dude was basically like, it was Ravi Abivala, and he was basically like, if Alex Hormozi were to be like, I'll give you a free one-on-one call. I'll help you for free for 1 hour. And he was like, but it's gonna be in 7 months on this date at 1 a.m. in the morning. You don't even have to put it in your calendar. You don't need a text reminder. You don't need a VSL. You don't need him to nurture you. You're showing up to that because you're like, this is gonna change my fucking business. I need this guy to help me out because he can double the amount of money I'm making. It's the same thing. If your prospects felt that way, they wouldn't need any other of this bullshit. They would be begging you, where's the Zoom link? Like, can I please join, right? Instead of ignoring you and not showing up. So the main reason why people aren't showing up is they just didn't think it was important enough. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because if you're running Facebook ads and your prospects aren't showing up, maybe it's your ad and it's your funnel that's shit. If you're doing everything else that I talked about in the video, but let's say you're connecting with your leads, like you're talking to them on the phone and they're not showing up. At the end of the day, it's just gonna be a sales issue. Because if you could, on the setting call or on the call, make them feel like they have a huge fucking problem and you're the one that's gonna solve it, they're gonna show up 10 times out of 10. Likely, if you're getting like 30, 40% show rates and you're connecting with them on the phone, then your sales call is shit. They don't trust you. They don't think that you're actually gonna help them. They probably think you don't know what you're talking about. So at the end of the day, like if you're doing everything that we just talked about and your calls still aren't fucking showing up and you're connecting with your leads, you suck at sales. It is what it is, bro. And like just accept it and you just need to get better at sales. It is what it is. I would say like that's the biggest thing. We just need to reverse engineer why people aren't showing up. It's most likely because we just need to reverse engineer why people aren't showing up, and it's just always most likely because they just didn't think it was important. So we need to make them realize it's important with our VSL, with our sales process, and with the actual sales call or appointment setting call or confirmation call. I'm a little bit sick, so I've been a little bit like iffy on uploads. I know I haven't uploaded in like 4 days, but I'm back. I had the flu. Fuck, being sick is the worst. But like I said, I'm back. So if you guys enjoyed, if this video helped you out, sub below, helps me out a bunch. I appreciate y'all for watching as always, and I'll catch y'all soon.